Welcome to the Business Process Automation Platform training videos from Codeless Platforms. Here are the objectives, required tools, and approximate running time for this video. On completion of this exercise, we will create a task that monitors incoming emails for criteria, puts the cleaned contents of the email into variables, checks to see if the account number of the user is in the database. If not, it sends a notification. If it is, it writes the support data to a database and notifies the user. The following video is not a full production example, but introduces techniques that can be used in your business process automation projects. If you wish to follow this process in your own environment, you will need the training database, preferably in the same location as BPA Platform, and appropriate drivers installed for your chosen database. We are using Microsoft SQL Server in this example. You will need the email trigger tool to be configured to monitor incoming emails in IIS. See our website for details on how to configure this. You will also need the Send Email SMTP tool set up in the global configuration. The email templates for this tutorial can be found in the Training Resources area. The global configuration can be found in System, Tools, Event, and by double-clicking Email Trigger. For our demonstration, we will use Direct Delivery mode. This is the most common setting for this tool. Click OK to close. Let's create a new task. Select your chosen task folder and click New Task. Name it Support Ticket Example and click Save. Then click the Design tab. To begin, we will need to create the variables that pass the data to the relevant steps. In the Browser Environment tab, set the scope to Task, right-click Variables, and click New. Name it Email Message, and in the Details tab, set type as Parameter and ensure Parameter attributes are in/out, and click OK. We will repeat this procedure to create variables with the following names and with the same settings as in the previous example. In the browser, under Tools, Event, drag in an email trigger step. In the General tab, we can name this Incoming Request, and in the Main tab, you will need to set the Use Agent drop-down to use the agent you have configured for this purpose. Email addresses to your configured domain will be monitored. Let's click Add to set the filters. We want the subject Support Ticket to trigger the task. So in the Mail Property drop-down, select Subject, and in the Filter Mask area, type Support Ticket in lowercase. We don't want a case-sensitive match for this. And now click OK. We will now add another filter. Select Subject from the drop-down and leave the wildcard in the Filter Mask area. This will be for the account number that the user will type after typing Support Ticket. For example, Support Ticket CSS 001. Then click OK. Let's leave the any of the above criteria set, as the account number can change from user to user. In the mapping section, we can see the variables we created, which we will need to map to the parameters within the step. Let's map the email message variable to the body text parameter. Then subject to subject, sent from address to sent from, account number to subject, and leave clean email and support call ID as unmapped. We won't use the Options tab in this example. Now click OK to close this step. OK, we now need to extract the account number from the subject line. In the browser, in Tools, General, let's drag in a Parse text tool. In the General tab, in Name type Extract Account Number, and then click the Main tab. In the Browser Environment tab, set Scope to Task, and drag the subject variable to the data box. This will set where the data is coming from. Let's click Add to set a rule. Name it Extract After Ticket, and in the drop-down, select Extract After C to the end of the line. In this case, C equals character, where N equals number. In the parameters value, type ticket, all lowercase. This will extract anything after the word ticket. To set where this will be output, select Account Number in the drop-down, and select all the checkboxes to ensure a clean result. Then click OK and OK again to close this step. We will repeat this process for the From address. Drag in another Parse text step and name it Clean Sent From Email, and click the Main tab. In the browser, with Scope set to Task, drag in the Sent From Address variable to the Data field. Click to add a rule, and in Type, ensure Extract between C1 and C2 is selected. In the parameters value for C1, type the less than symbol, and for C2, type greater than. This is to clean up the output from the mail server as it wraps the email address between those symbols. Let's set the output as the clean email variable and select all the checkboxes. Then click OK and OK again to close this step. We now need to check the user's account number exists. In the browser, Tools, Data Connectors, let's drag in a database query OLEDB step. In the General tab, name it Check Account Number, and select your connection to the training database. In the Query tab, expand the three panels. Find and expand the Support Calls table, and drag Account Ref into columns. In the Criteria column, we want to check the contents of the extracted account number held in the variable matches the contents of the database. Drag Account Ref from Columns into Criteria, and select Equals as a criteria. Then in the browser, set Scope to Task, and drag the account number variable into the box. Let's test the query. In the pop-up, you will have to enter a value that's in the database. Type CSS001 and click OK, and then OK again. And you will now see the results. Click OK to close this step. We will now make the pathway the task will follow if the account number exists. Drag in another Parse text tool and name it ACK-found, clean quotes in Sent From Address. Then go to the Main tab. In the Browser Environment tab, set Scope to Task, and in the Data field, drag in the Sent From Address variable. Add a rule, select the type, Extract between C1 and C2, and set the value of both to double quotes. Set the output as Sent From Address, and select all the options. This step is largely cosmetic to change the appearance in the notification emails, and remove double quotes from the mail server output. It is also used in the Send Email step. Click OK, and OK again to close. Now we want to extract only the required part of the email body to store in the database. Drag in another Parse text tool and name it Clean Extracted Email Message. Then go to the Main tab. In the browser with scope set to task, drag in the email message variable to the data box. Add a rule with the type extract line N1 to N2, the N representing the number of lines. In the parameter value, type 1 for both. We could choose to take much more content from the email, but for this example, we don't want the email signature, just the first line of the contents. Ensure the variable is output to email message, select all the options, and click OK, and OK again. We will now write the contents of the variables to the database. From the browser, Tools, Execute, drag in a Run VB script. In the General tab, name it Update Database, then click the Main tab. We are going to generate a random number together with a time and date stamp for our support call ID. Within the function, type the word randomize and then return. And then in the Browser Environment tab, set scope to task, and then drag in the support call ID variable. After the bracket, type the following. The time and date will be added shortly. In the Options tab, ensure Run Memory Providers after VB script execution is selected. Back in the Main tab, click the Memory button and click Add. From the list, select OLEDB Memory Provider. In the Memory tab, select the Training DB as the data source and browse to the Support Calls table. Then click OK. In the browser with scope set to task, then drag Support Call ID variable to the ID value and directly after the bracket, type the following. This will put the timestamp after the random number created in the VB script step. Then drag account number into account ref, email message into call description, and type the following into call date. Make sure ID is set as the key. The rest can remain unmapped. And click OK for each window to close. We will now create the notification that lets the user know the request has been received. In the browser, Tools, in Format, drag in a Format as HTML tool. In the General tab, name this Thank You Response. In the Formatting tab, leave the document generation set to one document, and we will import our template called thanksresponse v1.html. Click OK to overwrite. We will now drag in the variables to populate this email. Then in the browser, set scope to task, and drag in the sent from address variable, taking care not to leave the placeholder dashes in place. Next, drag in the email message variable and remove the placeholder text. Click OK to close this step. The end of this branch will send the notification email we have just created. In the Tools tab, in Output, drag in a Send Email SMTP step. In the General tab, name this Send Thank You Response. Select Read Documents from a Source and ensure this is set to Documents from Thank You Response. In the Connections tab, select your SMTP connection. And in the Main tab, click From and select One-Off Dynamic Address. In our example, we will type no reply at codelessplatforms.com, which has been set up to align with the mail sending policy. For your example, enter the appropriate sending address. Repeat this for the address, and then click OK. Next, click To, and in the browser, set Scope to Task. Drag the Clean Email variable into the Message Recipients area, and click OK. This will send the email to the email address that was extracted from the sender of the support request. In the subject line, type Support Issue from Account and drag in the account number variable after the text. Ensure Message Contents is set to Document Output and click OK. We will now configure the branch that handles an incorrect or missing account number. OK, in the browser, Tools, General section, drag in another Parse text tool. And in the General tab, name it Clean Sent From Address to No Ref Step. Now click the Main tab. Back in the browser, Environment, with Scope set to Task, drag the Sent From Address variable into the Data field and add a rule. Ensure Extract between C1 and C2 is selected and type double quotes into the values. Set the variable output as Sent From Address and, as previously, select all the available options. Then click OK and OK again. In the browser, under Tools and Format, drag in a Format as HTML step. In the General tab, name it Ref Does Not Exist Format and click the Formatting tab. Let's import the template for this step. Click Import and locate and open the file called Account Not Found v1.html. Click OK to overwrite. In the browser, set Scope to Task and drag the Sent From Address variable into place. Then remove the placeholder dashes. Next, drag the account number variable into place and also remove the placeholder dashes. Then click OK to close this step. To send this email, from the browser, let's drag in a Send Email SMTP step. And in the General tab, name it Send No Matching Account Notification. Select Read Documents from a Source and select Documents from Ref Does Not Exist format. In the Connections tab, select your SMTP configured connection. And in the Main tab, click From, select One-Off Address, and as before, input your No Reply configured address. Now repeat this for the address. Then click OK. Click To, and in the Browser Environment tab, with Scope set to Task, drag the Clean Email variable into the Message Recipients box and click OK. In the subject line, type your account reference and then drag in the account number variable. Then continue typing, space, is not recognized. Ensure the message content is document output and click OK. We will now link the parts and configure the decision step. In the browser, Tools, General, drag in a decision step after Check Account Number. And name the step Does Account Number Exist? This will have two branches. One if the account number is found by the previous database query step, and another branch if it doesn't. Now click to add a branch and name it Account Exists. Set where this branch will go by selecting AC found clean quotes in sent from address as the step. In the Script tab, we will use the output of the query step to determine if the account is found. In the Browser Environment tab with scope set to task, locate and open the Check Account Number step and drag the row count into the script area. To check if there are matching results, type greater than 0 after row count. Click Save and close this branch. Now let's click to add the Account Not Found branch. Name it Account Not Found and set the to destination as Clean Sent From Address to No Ref step. In the Script tab, select Else, then save and close the branch, and save and close the step. We can now link the remaining steps to complete the task as shown. Let's save and close the task. Now let's test the task from our email client and write a new email. In the To address, input your monitored email address. For us, this is training.demo@codelessplatforms.com. In the subject line, enter our trigger, which is support ticket in lowercase, and add the account number, which we know is in the database, CSS 001. In the body, type a brief support question and click Send. Back in BPA Platform, we can now see the task is running, and we will then receive the acknowledgement email. And if we look in the database, we can see the entry has been added. And if we send another email from an account number that isn't in the database, we will receive the following email. And that's it for this video. We have configured an email trigger, database query, parse text, decision, formatting and send email steps, and written the results to a database. Please note that this isn't a full production example, but introduces the concepts and techniques needed for wider business processes. Thanks for watching.